Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. பொடியான் மயக்கியன் போதத்தை பறித்து உன் போதத்தை காட்டினை அருணாச்சலா. போக்கும் வரவு-மில் பொது-வெளியினில்-அருள் Pōrāt tankāt Arunachalā. Bhau-dika mämudal pattrat-tru nāļu-mun Bavisu-kan durav-arul Arunachalā. மலை மறந்திட நீ மலை தேடவோ அருள் மலை மறந்தாயொளிர் அருணாச்சலா. மானம் கொண்டுருபவர் மானத்தை அழித்த பீமானமில்லாதொளிர் அருணாச்சலா. மிஞ்சிடில் கெஞ்சிடும் கொஞ்சவரிவனியான் வஞ்சியாதருளனை அருணாச்சலா. மீகாமல் இல்லாமல் மாகாற்றலை கலம் ஆகாமல் காத்தருள் அருணாச்சலா. முடியடி காணா முடிவிட தன்னை நேர் முடிவிட கடனிலை அருணாச்சலா. மூக்கிலன் முன்காட்டு முகுரமகாதனை தூக்கியணைந்தருள் அருணாச்சலா. மெய்யகத்தின் மனமென் மலரணையினாம் மெய் கலந்திடருள் அருணாச்சலா. மேன்மேற்றாழ்ந்திடும் மெல்லியர் சேர்ந்து நீ மேன்மையுற்றனையன் அருணாச்சலா. மைமய நீ தருள் மையினலுனதும் மை வசமாக்கினை அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலா.
நமः பரமரிஷிभ्यो நமः பரமரிஷிभ्यः. ஹரி ஓம். யஸ்யாந்தன்னாதிமத்யம் நஹி கரச்சரணம் நாமகோத்திரம் ந சூத்திரம் நோ ஜாதிர்நைவ வர்ணா ந பவதி புருஷோ நானபும்சம் ந ச ஸ்திரீம் நாகாரம் நோ விகாரம் நஹி ஜனிமரணம் நாஸ்தி புண்ணியம் ந பாபம் தத்துவம் நோ தத்துவமேகம் சஹஜசமரசம் சத்குரும் தம் நமாமி. ஞானேன ஆகாஷகல்பேன தர்மான் யோககனோபமான் ஞேயாபின்னேன சம்புத்தः தம் வந்தே த்விபதாம் வரம். யஸ்மாஜ்ஜாதம் ஜகத்சர்வம் யஸ்மின்னேவ பிரலீயதே ஏனேதம் தார்யதே சைவ தஸ்மை ஞானாத்மனே நமः. மௌனவ்யாக்யா பிரகடிதபரபிரம்மதத்துவம் யுவானம் வர்ஷிஷ்டாந்தேவ சத்ருஷிகணைः ஆவృతం பிரம்மனிஷ்டைः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे वेदान्तार्थविभासकाय यतये शान्ताय सन्न्यासिने नानावादिनगेन्द्रसङ्गपवये योगीन्द्रवन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्तदिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभितां बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततं पूर्णाय बोधात्मने अपारसच्चित्सुखवारिराशेः यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि त्वय्यर्पितमनसा त्वां पश्यन् सर्वं तवाकृतितयां सततं भजते अनन्यप्रीत्या स जयत्यरुणाचल त्वयि सुखे मग्नः योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्. Yesterday we saw the 74th verse. Pökkum varavu-mil podu-veļi arul Pōrāt tankāt Arunachala. There is another verse in which Bhagavan says, make me established in the state where one is free of day and night. Rappagalilla veru-veļi. Here also podu-veļi. And Muruganar Swami in his commentary is quoting few lines from Kandara Alankaram. Pökkum varavum illada ondru vandu taakkum. The one free of coming and going keeps impacting me again. It comes. It's a very beautiful mystical usage there. Vandu yenai taakkum. That state again and again overpowers me. So this Muruganar is quoting from Arunagirinathar's work, Kandara Alankaram. That day we said about various stages. The first state is where one hears, listens to the aham vritti. It is the initiation. First time, one wonders about the throb inside as I. And that wonderment, that amazement is the beginning of the search, where the inner eye is focused on the keyhole. Then begins the real austerity, which Bhagavan initiated Kavyakanta. Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni asked Bhagavan, what is tapas? We just read that story very casually. He was a past master in austerity. There is one biography of Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni written by one of his disciples. The name of the biography itself is Mahatapasvi, the supreme tapasvi, austere person. Such a person is asking Bhagavan tapas means it is not a simple question. He is not asking about any doing. He is asking about the plane of tapas. The plane where there is incessant experience of that higher energy, where the mind does not crisscross, the ego does not obstruct the experience. There is uninterrupted flow of that deeper energy, that peace. To remain in that state, actually, there are 7 planes above, 7 planes below. The below planes, from balanced human being, you can go down. And psychiatry or psychology deals only with that. For them, a balanced person is not at all a subject. If the person is a very balanced person, he need not go to any psychiatrist or psychologist. So the psychologist or psychiatrist, balanced person is not a subject. A normal person, no. A sane person. Below, you say Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, Patala. Go down, 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 down. And the balanced person is in Bhu, in this earth. And from there, the higher planes, Bhuaha, Suvaha, ethereal plane, meditative planes, Mahaha, the plane where the person gains glory, Janaha, the plane where the person becomes selfless, Tapaha, the 6th plane where real austerity is born. Actually, the cognizing power lands in the realm of austerity. It is not that he is doing some austerity. The inner force travels to the 6th plane and it abides in the realm of austerity. Tapoloka. Then comes Satyam, where there is incessant effulgence of truth, self, Atma, Swarupa. Actually, that is real tapas. Jnana tapas. So the effort to make one's inner being abide in that egoless state is tapas. So about that tapas, Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni is asking, and Bhagavan answers, when you ask where from the I thought arises, when you investigate, look where from the I thought arises, you will find that the I thought and breath, both, arises from the same source, the heart. And when you pay attention to that, you will find that it will return back to the source, and that is tapas. When you observe where from a mantra arises, you will find that the mantra also arises from the heart. And the mind will merge there. That is tapas. This is the two ways of going to the same source which Bhagavan revealed. And mantra and I thought are all same. The throb of I arises in the heart. The power to focus inwardly without any distraction of other thoughts, to focus in the throb of I thought. That is the ajapa. You are holding on to that I within you. That is tapas. There also, it comes and goes. You enter into that state, the luminous state, what Bhagavan calls as Bhuma, the podu-veļi. Muruganar translates it as Bhuma. Bhuma means what the Upanishad says as the infinite. Etra nānyat pashyati, nānyat shrunoti, nānyat vijanati. Where the other is not seen, other is not heard, other is not smelt. That is Bhuma, the most fulfilling state. You cannot have fulfillment in the finite. You can have fulfillment only in the infinite. Bhumeva sukham, nalpe sukham asti. You cannot have that sukham, happiness, fulfillment in limitation. You find that sukham in the unlimited, the limitless. And there, when the mind has entered, no more coming out. Thillai veliyinil kalandu gondaravar tiruvannamai. It's a song in Tamil about Bhagavan's enlightenment. B.V. Narasimha Swami quotes this song there. When one has merged in the light of Chidambaram, he will not come out. When the ego enters there and vanishes there, no more coming out. Coming out means what? Forgetting the true state. That is our problem. You have to forget the old self, not the truth. But you forget the truth and hold on to the old self and say, now I have become normal. Matta smritihi jnanam apohanam cha. Bhagavan says in Gita, from the self comes the recollection, knowledge and forgetfulness, which is wrongly used in the world. In Nididhyasana also you should have the recollection of your true nature, knowledge of that state and forgetfulness of your old self. Ahankara vismrityabhyasa, as Panchadeshikara says, Vidyaranya Swami says, he puts it in a different form, the self-enquiry. He says the sadhaka has to train himself to forget the I. When you forget something, it completely vanishes, not keeping away. You just forget the I. When you do bhakti, you forget the I. When you have the higher presence, you forget the I. Constantly remembering the I, my problem. And that is suffering, the center of suffering. You keep the I alive. It goes to other birth, because as long as it is alive, that is what Buddha said that night. That Buddha Purnami, Vaishaka Purnami night, he said, I have found the fellow who was making house. Not this. Gehakaram gavesanto dukkameva punam punam. That Pali, dukkam, dukka jati punam punam. I was gaveshana, I was doing the research, I was seeking the Gehakara, one who makes the house. Aneka jati samsaram. Sandavisham anambisham. Without getting the Gehakara, I was running from one birth to another birth to another birth. And then I decided to find out who is making this booking. This what they call? இங்கே வந்து அந்த வீடு புக் பண்ணிப்பாளே என்னது? No. Now new Airbnb. This is, you can call it Airb. So this Airbnb guest house booker, one who is booking that, I was searching for that fellow. He says, Gehakaram gavesanto. I was seeking who is this Gehakara. Dukkameva punah punaha. In Sanskrit it is always one dukkha after another dukkha after another dukkha. Gehakara dittosi. He says, Gehakara drishtosi. I have seen you, the housemaker. And what he says is, I have broken the ridgepole, the rafters, samskara. Now no more house for me. You cannot make another house. I am free, he says. So the housemaker is this I. This ahankara. With all desire. With all problems. With all attachment. It is creating trouble after trouble, birth from one birth to another and one birth to another. When that is over, so first Bhagavan reveals this I. And you listen to Bhagavan, you become a avadhana, savadhana. You become attentive to the I. Aham vritti vichara. Your attention falls on the I thought, and you find where from the I thought arises. Then you can find how many births, aneka jati samsaram. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. See, one moment you can see so many births. The I thought taking this form, that form, here, there, everywhere. It is just, as you leave it, it will continue. You leave it unattended, it will continue. You need not have some supra-mental vision to know this. This I thought wears so many forms inside. Constantly, birth after birth after birth. Suffering. As Patanjali, Yoga Sutra, Patanjali says, vritti sarupyam. Identifying with vritti, identifying with thought, identifying with emotion, identifying with many things. And what does it lead to? It leads to suffering. Dukkhameva punah punaha. Sorrow after sorrow after sorrow. And that samskara, that vasana, that becoming inside, becoming, I want to become this, I want to become that, I will become something. This is called a roga. In Sanskrit we call it bhava roga, a disease. And the medicine for that disease is jnanam, which reveals to you the state where there is no more going and coming. Pökkum varavu-illa. The state where there is no going and coming, the shashvata sthiti. That permanent state where there is shanti, where there is freedom. And that chidakasha, that infinity, podu-veļi, let my fight with these states end. Bhagavan says, Pōrāt, this fight with this coming and going, let that end and let me be established in that shashvata akasha, that infinite space. This is the prarthana, the prayer in the 74th verse. And now the 75th verse. Bhau-dika mam udal pattrat-tru nāļu-mun Bavisu-kan durav-arul Arunachala. This idea comes again and again in Vedanta. Bhau-dika mam udal pattrat-tru. My attachment to this body, O Arunachala, my attachment to this gross body, or you can say subtle body, the causal body, all that. Bhau-dika mam udal pattrat-tru nāļum, unceasingly, day and night. Un Bavisu-kan durav. Bavisu means the effulgence, the light. Muruganar here, I was amazed because he uses all the Vedantic terminologies here. He says, Rahoho Shiraha. In the Bhashya it comes. Bhagavan has taught them all this. Muruganar, Lakshmana Sharma, they all have directly heard Vedanta from Bhagavan. And Jagadisha Shastri says, even Sutra Bhashya we will take to him. But if some person out of mere intellectual curiosity asks him about these things, he will say, I have not studied, I do not know all these things. So here Muruganar says, Rahoho Shiraha. This Rahu is a planet which has only head. It is actually an imaginary planet. Rahu's head. And Rahu possesses only head. It has no body. It has only head. Like that is Arunachala, your light. Because Arunachala is light. Light is Arunachala Swarupa. Jyoti is Arunachala Swarupa. So, Bhau-dika udal pattrat-tru. The basic thing is to first breakthrough in spiritual life is to know that I am not the body. If you are not ready for that, it is better go and eat and sleep. At least you should accept the fact that I am not the body. That is the first step. The breakthrough happens there. That itself is a great explosion. The very first thing, there is a beautiful work in Sanskrit. It condenses the entire Bhagavata Purana and offers as a prayer to Lord Krishna in Kerala, Guruvayur. That work is Narayaniyam. It speaks about Narayana, and the author is also Narayana, so it is Narayaniyam. And generally devotees, they will like that work very much, because after every 10 verses, the devotee had some physical problem, Vata Roga. So he is praying to Bhagavan, remove my disease. So that became very famous. The book became very famous because what we want he is asking. So every 10 verses he will say, Oh Lord, remove my Vata Roga, my problem, my physical illness. And the story is that ultimately became free. So everyone will like it, and that is a very beautiful work. But at last, in the 90th canto, 100 cantos, in the 90th canto he says, Lord, I know that the root disease is body identity. Remove this identification with this body, he prays, because otherwise one disease you remove, another will come there. When this COVID came, people were behaving as if first time after creation some disease is coming. Their behavior was such that first time somebody is going to die. Every day it is happening. In one form or the other, people were dying. Some more terrible diseases were also there. But the attitude was, if COVID does not come, I will not die. So this he says in the 90th canto, he says, Oh Lord, remove this identification with the body. He may dehamoham tyajapavana puradhish yat prema heto gehe vitte kalatra dishuja vivashitaha tvatpadam vismaranti. Because of my identity with this body, I am identifying with the house, with the money, with family, with so many things. The cause is my identification with the body, and whatever gives joy to the body, I identify with it also. So Bhau-dika mämudal pattrat-tru, this attachment to this physical body, this is giving so much trouble. Somebody told Bhagavan that we have to do yoga and body is free of disease, then self-realization. It sounds very good, nothing wrong. But Bhagavan said, உடம்பே ஒரு வியாதி ஓய், அதுக்கு வியாதி வந்ததுன்னா வியாதிக்கு வியாதி வந்ததுன்னு சொல்லணும். Bhagavan said the body itself is a disease. When a disease comes to the body, it is disease to the disease. Illness has come to disease. It is not something negative, pessimism. But the fact is, what is disease? When you are not comfortable, it is disease, no easiness. One portion of the body protrudes. There is pain in one part, that is disease. Like that, you forget the infinity because of your identity from this hair to toe, head to toe. And that disease makes you forget Atma, the self, your Swarupa, that Bhavish. Bhagavan calls it Bhavish, the light. The effulgence. I forget the effulgence of the real nature, the self, because of this identification with the body. Attachment to the body. Bhau-dika mämudal pattrat-tru nāļu-mun, constantly Bavisu-kan durav-arul Arunachala, unceasingly let me behold thy light. And here Muruganar quotes Unnuru unalara unnida, Bhagavan's verse. Munnir uru charkarai uru yana uru oyum. When one becomes aware of thy form, little translation I am changing. With an unthinking mind they have put. Without thinking, thoughtless, abiding in the thoughtless state, when one becomes aware of thy form, see, Bhagavan has given this instruction to many of his disciples. To one of them he said, just keep yourself free of thoughts. The mind will naturally enter the heart. You need not do any other sadhana. Just keep yourself free of thoughts, free of thinking. But you should have the knowledge of the self, that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the ego. I am that pure consciousness. This knowledge should be there. Otherwise, videha prakriti laya. As Patanjali Yoga Sutra says, the mind merges like sleep with all the body idea and comes out with all the body idea. So that samadhi won't do. That is why a person comes, merges, sits like this, nothing will happen. You can find a bodhi tree, sit there. For years and years, no enlightenment will come. This Patanjali calls as videha prakriti laya. It sounds bodiless prakriti laya. No. It means the prakriti laya is happening, but deha is very much there. Like sleep. The body idea is alive. And the dream is the rebirth. So, here, very beautifully, they have put it, when one becomes aware of thy form with a mind free of thoughts, not allowing the mind to work, like a sugar doll sunk in an ocean of milk, his ego mind, the body-based mind, even if he wills it or not, will gradually dissolve away, unknown to him, to become one with Arunachala, the form of awareness, bliss. Then, by the plenitude of grace of Arunachala, his splendor will flash on a sudden in his heart as the form of the self. Just keeping inwardly that, maintaining that state free of thoughts. Just not allowing any sankalpa to arise. It is a constant fight. Arul Pōrāt. We will forget because so many births we are experts in having sankalpa. That has become a habit with us. And there are forces around like virus, they make you think. That is why this outer renunciation is taken so that you move away from everything that creates thoughts, everything that compels you to think. Not much sadhana is needed. You have to just refuse to harbor thoughts. But the jnana should be there. Without jnana, that will be like sleep. So the nirvikalpa samadhi. Vikalpa is ajnana, nirvikalpa is jnana, and then samadhi. It is not yoga. It is not kevala kumbhaka. So the state where one knows that I am not the body, you have to contemplate on that state which is given to you, treasure house, which is every day open to you in deep sleep. The Upanishad calls it treasure house, Hiranyanidhisthana. Hiranya means gold. Nidhi is treasure. And abode of Hiranyanidhi. Every day it is revealed to you, unknowingly you walk over it and come out. Aharahar gachanti. Every day you go there and come out. Naviduhu. Without knowing. Now you contemplate on that state, reflect on that state again and again and again. And the intellect just takes the photo of that state. It takes the photograph of that state, and that is samadhi. The buddhi-grahyam atindriyam. Atindriyam is given to you, now buddhi-grahyam has to happen. The transcendental thing is happening to all. Everyone. Samoham sarvabhuteshu. E bhajanti tumam bhaktya maite deshu chapya. For all this state is given. Yatra mata amata bhavati, pita apita bhavati. Shankaracharya takes that and puts it. Na mata pita va, na deva, na lokaha, na veda, na yajna, na tirtham bruvanti, sushuptavu. Nirastadi shunyatmakatvad, it is not nothingness. And what remains there? Tadego vasishta shiva kevaloham. What is there? That's Shiva. That pure auspiciousness. It is me. That is my real nature. Recognizing, owning it. Pratyabhijna. Owning it in the waking state. Owning with awareness. Owning with wakefulness. Holding to it with will. And with that comes fearlessness. With that comes the freedom from body idea. With that comes freedom from this ego idea. It is too much on us. The ego idea is too much on us. And the entire society is built up in such a way that it feeds it. Uru patri ongum. Undumiga ongum. It constantly feeds on objects, knowledge, information which makes this ego fat. But however fat it might become, it is just a dream. In dream you become fat. But for the time being you are in the hypnosis. You are under the spell. So wake up. Bhau-dika mämudal pattrat-tru. Bhagavan says, free from the Bhau-dika mämudal. This flesh body, the physical body, and this causal body which is much more, this subtle body which is much more difficult. Linga shariram. As Bhagavata puts it, lingam vyapohet kushalohamakyam. As Rishabhadeva says, this ahankara is much more subtle than the physical body. the inquirer, the yogi, dissolves this linga sharira. Lingam vyapohet kushalaha. Kushala means he is very dexterous. The skillful yogi removes the linga sharira. Lingam vyapohet kushalohamakyam. That ahankara is removed. This self-image is removed. This housemaker is found out and removed. Gehakaraka dattosi. Gehakaraka drishtosi. That is what Buddha said. I have seen the housemaker. He is the housemaker. He is first giving inside you what they call, before making the house, blueprint. So many blueprint. How many houses you can make in future. That blueprints are all there inside. And he says, I have just destroyed that bricks and ridge poles, rafters, that is what they use in the old houses. All that I have removed. So the ridge poles are all the vasanas, the becoming, the desire, the ambition. The I thought is the source. So Bavisu-kan means making oneself established in the knowledge of the self. Atma-jnana nishtha. First step is you get this knowledge. First step, breakthrough, is I am not the body. Then the wonderment of the I thought. That is the beginning here. You become amazed, fascinated by this center idea of I. Then you go deeper. Bavisu-kan, seeing the I as light. So Jyotisham apita jyotihi. Tamasaf paramuchyate. Beyond all darkness, you see the effulgence of the self, the I. Jnanam nyayam jnanagamyam. The seer, the seen, the seeing, the knower, the known, the knowledge. It all is one non-dual effulgence. The nirvikalpa jyoti. Kandu ura. The moment I see that and know that I am that light, know that I am that effulgence, I become free. Arul Arunachala. Bhagavan says, Arunachala, reveal to me that. And nāļu-mun. Not that simply once I come to Tiruvannamalai, many people, it's very, very sometimes unbelievable. A person gets this knowledge and again I have to go down. Somebody asked Bhagavan, how is it possible? Bhagavan says it's quite possible. Adridajnanam. He quotes from Kaivalyanavanitam. It comes and goes. Pokku varavu. And that is much, much more painful because after getting a glimpse of this state, again you go back to the drainage. As Bhagavan calls it, pāļu. Pāļu means drainage, it's actually. Again falling to the drainage, the suffering of ignorance, ajnana. பாழினில் வீழாத ஏழையை காத்து உன் பதத்தில் இருத்தி வைத்தனையே ஆழியாம் கருணை அண்ணலே. He says, oh Lord of compassion, you rescued me from again falling into that sewage, that drainage, where there is suffering, torture. See, this remembrance, data collection of all the suffering that we have had in our last births, that is vairagya. Actually, that is great strength. Without that, jnana will not be stable. Without that, knowledge of the self cannot be powerful. Because you know the trouble of going back, slipping back. Yes, there is no slipping back. But the forgetfulness can bring dream after dream of suffering. So to again be established in the bodiless effulgence, Bhau-dika mämudal pattrat-tru Bavisu, in the light free of body, in the self, there is, in the bodiless state of awareness, and nāļu-mun, constantly, day and night, rāppakal illa varavu-mil. That is why the sannyasi, in the tradition, people think actually in the Vedic sannyasa, the mantras are all for giving up rituals, to transcend the many rituals. It is not actually for the so-called outer renunciation, because the outer renunciation happens even before that. The main thing is the person is given a certificate to give up rituals, because timely meditation, timely doing something, it limits. So the monk has taken decision to be timelessly abide in the infinite. Timelessly abide. So for him, there is no special anushtana, no special time meditation, no special time puja. You can see that in Bhagavan. No special outside things, but you can say that. No special outside thing. Then what will you do? I will sit and watch television and some entertainment or some gossip. So again, monks, what they find, this is very dangerous. So some people say you have to do japa, you have to do parayana, you have to have all kind of yoga abhyasa, everything. Many people wonder why this Shankaracharya Madhadipatis, these pontiffs, they do puja. Puja means what? You just go and see Kanchipuram, that Swami. Morning to night the puja will be there. 3 times puja he himself has to do. And recently he went, invited by Prime Minister for that Ayodhya. So the daytime he was not there. He had to go, came back in the evening, took his bath, night had the first puja, midnight the second puja, early morning the third puja, and took bath again, started the daytime puja. People will wonder why this is, because Shankaracharya, yes, they have found that this austerity is needed to make you free of other things. Otherwise you will get into other things. Actually, what is this puja? It is not doing anything. Outwardly things will be happening. That is actually, many monks, they say, when you have these rituals, that is the free time you get where you can have that state. Formerly, many times I used to say, when people want to see me, visit me, they will, with bhakti, they will say, we just want to have darshan. You come the time of puja. So they will not talk, I need not talk, they will sit, look at you, puja and go. That is actually non-doing. The rituals are sometimes spiritual poetry. But of course it can become mechanical, It can become boring. It is quite possible. But the person can train himself to remain meditative with that outer wall around him, discipline around him. It's possible. That is how the monks devised all these things again. But when the time comes, everything falls off. And there is Rappahalilla varavu-mil, day and night samadhi. There is no time when the person needs anything else. He is neither doing nor thinking nor sleeping. Bhau-dika mämudal pattrat-tru. Doing is the physical body, thinking is the subtle body, sleeping is the causal body. All the three are not active. He is just still, free of the action, free of thoughts, free of sleep. Or these three, any of these can happen. Either you will be workaholic, or you will think, and if you cannot think, you will sleep. That is what happens in satsanga. When you are not able to think, try to think. It's I can act everything. The way you listen people, they sit like this. First they will sit in the yoga posture. You will think that it is the Vaishaka Purnima. In a few hours, Dukkame punah punah, they will wake up and suddenly then look this side, that side. Because nothing goes inside. Then slowly the body slackens. Very clearly you can see these things. The body becomes loose. That is the first step. Then they will act as if not sleeping. They will put all acting of attentively listening and head. All these things they will do. In spite of that, slowly. Sometimes the only one who does not sleep is the speaker. That too in Bhagavata Saptaha, whole day reading, speaking will be there, and good, very, very sweet, very tasty food also. So after that they come and sit to hear. I will not speak. So the talk will be only in the morning and evening. That too evening after the tea. In between, only reading. So, the body is so much on us. Action is so much on us. Thoughts are so much on us. If these two are there, sleep. The state of torpor, laya. Laya vikshepa kashaya. These are all things which are obstacles. The mind either merges in sleep or gets scattered, thinking. Thoughts, whatever high state it goes, whatever knowledge it brings, whatever insights, it is utterly plastic, meaningless. And you catch hold of it, try to stop it, it goes to sleep, dull, torpor, laya. And sometimes there is deep depression. Kashaya sthiti. That is very difficult. Either some past sorrow will be there from this birth or from past birth. Sometimes some children, they carry that state. That is from the past birth. The Kashaya sthiti. Laye sambodhayeti chittam. When the mind goes to sleep, wake it up. Vikshiptam shamayet punaha. When it is scattered, whatever may be the upaya by method, try to quieten it. Sakashayam vijaniyat. That is a very great act. When the mind enters into a kind of listlessness, a kind of sorrow, you do not know the reason. There could be many problems hiding behind. You have to know it. Become wakeful. You can act, you can cheat others, deceive others, but not yourself. Underneath there is some sorrow, some suffering. At least you should know how to weep. You cover it up, hide it up. You are deceiving your own self. So, vijaniyat. Know it thoroughly. By whatever method, by whatever upaya, heal yourself. This self-healing is what we need. And this is the medicine that Bhagavan is giving us to heal ourselves. That is the greatest medicine. The medicine for the physical body is only secondary. Even the Ayurveda Grantha, the first worship, the first prostration is to that great doctor who healed me out of attachment and aversion. Ashtanga Hridayakara, first verse he says, Apurva Vaidya. That primordial Vaidya, that physician who healed my ragadvesha, attachment and aversion, to him my namaskara, he says. So this ragadvesha is the problem, and the former ragadvesha hides behind as shoka, kashaya sthiti. Dukkha, tīvra dukkha, aikagriyata. Very powerfully, Sadashiva Brahmendra says, the attention gets concentrated in sorrow. That you can see in people. Sometimes little suffering of them, they get concentrated there. To heal yourself out of that, to be free of that. That's pattrat-tru. Real going out of all attachment, free of all attachment. This is what Buddha calls as rafters and ridge poles, all those things. Breaking them. Bavisu-kan. Bavisu-kan means that we are seeing the Bavisu, the knowledge of the self, the light of the self. To be strong with the knowledge, to have that courage of the knowledge, abhayam, abhihi. That is a very beautiful verse of Swami Vivekananda that Sharachandra Chakrabarti has written about Swami Vivekananda, where he says, abhihi hunkaranadida dingmukha prachanda tandava nrittam. He had the dance of fearlessness, he says. Wherever he went, he just gave out that sound of fearless, be fearless, be fearless. Abhihi, hunkaranadida dingmukha prachanda tandava nrittam. And he himself says, from every page, from every letter, the Upanishad speaks to me only that. That is the message, fearlessness. You encounter the fear and cross the border. That is what Bhagavan did. See the fear in its full intensity. Solidified fear is body. This body idea is solidified fear. So you transcend it, go beyond it. That is one plane, one state where you will see the God of death face to face. You will encounter death in your spiritual journey, which happened to Bhagavan in a short period, that every seeker will one day or the other, he will see it inside him. Cross the border. Go beyond it. That is freedom from it. Bavisu-kan durav-arul Arunachala. Give me that grace, bestow that grace on me so that I will see, behold the light and be free of this darkness, this pain, this suffering of birth, death, old age, attachment, disease. So this is Bhau-dika mämudal pattrat-tru nāļu-mun Bavisu-kan durav-arul Arunachala. Give me that medicine. Malai marundida nee malaithidavo. Arul malai marundai olir Arunachala. Very beautiful song. Bhagavan calls Arunachala as Malai Marund, a big hill size of medicine. When you are there as medicine for delusion, medicine for ignorance, Arunachala means Upanishad, it means jnana. When it is there, malaithidavo, should I again be deluded? Should I again become weak? Malai marundai olira Arunachala, shine forth in me as the medicine of jnanam. Give me that medicine of jnanam. Malai marundai olira Arunachala. So this is the next verse that we have to see tomorrow. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Yato mamatma bhavasittvameva, tato na vachyam mama kinchidasti, yathataveshtam kurumam tathaiva, tvam atmanatham Ramanam bhajami.